The Tialeigh Palmer case stands as one of Australia's most harrowing criminal tragedies, a story of betrayal, abuse, and systemic failure that ended in the murder of a vulnerable 12-year-old girl. Tialeigh Alyssa Rose Palmer, known to her loved ones as Tia, was a bright and spirited child whose life was cut short on the 29th of October, 2015, by the very people entrusted to protect her foster family, the Thorburns. Her body was discovered 6 days later, on the 5th of November, 2015, by fishermen along the muddy banks of the Pimpama River, south of Brisbane, Queensland. What followed was an investigation that uncovered a chilling web of deceit, sexual abuse, and cold-blooded murder, exposing deep flaws in the foster care system and prompting widespread outrage across the nation. Tialeigh's life before her death was marked by instability. Born on the 29th of January, 2003, she entered the foster care system at the tender age of 7 after her biological mother, Cindy Palmer, struggled with personal challenges that made it difficult to provide a stable home. Cindy, a young mother who loved her daughter deeply, faced socioeconomic hardships and lacked the support network needed to raise Tialeigh alone. Despite these difficulties, Cindy maintained a connection with her daughter, hoping foster care would offer Tialeigh safety and opportunity. Over the years, Tialeigh moved between foster homes, a transient existence that left her yearning for permanence. In January 2015, she was placed with the Thorburn family in Chambers Flat, a semi-rural area south of Brisbane. Rick Thorburn, a truck driver, and his wife Julene presented themselves as a stable, working-class couple with 2 teenage sons, Trent and Joshua. On the surface, they appeared to be a suitable foster family, but beneath this facade lay a household steeped in dysfunction and secrecy. The events leading to Tialeigh's death began to unfold on the evening of the 29th of October, 2015. That day started like any other for the young girl. She attended a hip-hop dance class, a rare outlet for joy in her turbulent life. During the class, she complained of stomach pains, a detail that would later take on sinister significance. Rick Thorburn, her foster father, claimed he dropped her off at Marsden State High School the following morning, the 30th of October. Teachers, however, noted her absence from classes, and she was never seen alive again. Initially, her disappearance raised little alarm. The Thorburns delayed reporting her missing, and it wasn't until days later that authorities were alerted. The discovery of her body in the Pimpama River, partially decomposed, clad in a school uniform, and missing her shoe strands formed what might have been a missing persons case into a murder investigation.
Queensland police have identified a body found on the Gold Coast as 12-year-old Tialeigh Palmer. She hadn't been seen since last Friday as she made her way to school in Logan. Her remains were discovered on the banks of the Pimpama River on Thursday evening.
It's very important that we speak with anybody who was there over the last 7 days, and that's even if they think that they can't help us. Even if they saw nothing, that's really important to us that they come forward and tell us that they saw nothing.
The Queensland Police launched an exhaustive inquiry, dubbed Operation Viking, to unravel the mystery of Tialeigh's death. Her body, exposed to the elements and water for nearly a week, offered few immediate clues. An autopsy could not pinpoint the exact cause of death due to decomposition, though bruising and signs of trauma suggested foul play. The investigation quickly zeroed in on the Thorburn family, whose accounts of Tialeigh's final days were inconsistent and evasive. Rick claimed she had simply vanished after he dropped her off, but neighbors and school records contradicted his timeline. As detectives dug deeper, they uncovered a motive so depraved it shocked even seasoned officers. Tialeigh had been killed to conceal sexual abuse within the family. The key to the case lay with Trent Thorburn, Rick's 18-year-old son. In secretly recorded conversations obtained through police surveillance later, revealed to be part of a sophisticated bugging operation in the Thorburn home, Trent admitted to his parents that he had engaged in sexual activity with Tialeigh. He confessed this shortly after her dance class. when her stomach pains raised fears she might be pregnant. In the eyes of the Thorburns, this posed an existential threat.
And I was informed later that day of everything that had happened, and she had had sex with my brother at a point, I don't know when. Dad called us into the lounge room to discuss that there was a few things happening. Trent had, it was at that point that I was then informed about what Trent had done with Tia. Dad called us in, sat us down, proceeded to explain that Trent had sex with Tia, and I really didn't want to look at either of them. Mm-hmm. Dad proceeded to say that we all had to protect Trent.
A pregnancy would expose Trent's crime, potentially dismantle the family, and end their status as foster carers, which provided financial benefits. Rather than seek help or report the abuse, Rick made a calculated decision to silence Tialeigh permanently. On the night of the 29th of October, he killed her in the family home. Though the precise method remained murky for years, he then drove her body to the Pimpama River, callously discarding it like refuse, hoping the water would erase his crime. The investigation gained traction in 2016, nearly a year after Tialeigh's death. Police employed a mix of traditional detective work and modern tactics, including wiretaps and psychological pressure. Rick Thorburn, a domineering figure with a volatile temper, emerged as the prime suspect. On the 19th of September, 2016, he was arrested in dramatic fashion after attempting to flee during a police sting. Confronted with mounting evidence, phone records, witness statements, and the family's own incriminating conversation, she eventually crumbled. In May 2018, Rick pleaded guilty to murder in the Supreme Court of Queensland. Justice David Bottis sentenced him to life imprisonment with a non-parole period of 20 years, condemning his actions as cold, calculating, and callous. The judge highlighted Rick's lack of remorse, noting that he had treated Tialeigh's life as disposable.
Throughout all of the offending is made more shocking for the deliberateness of your actions and your willingness to coerce every member of your family to maintain false accounts in an effort to cover up your despicable behaviour.
The legal fallout extended beyond Rick. Trent Thorburn faced charges of incest, perjury, and attempting to pervert the course of justice for his role in the abuse and subsequent cover-up. He admitted to the sexual relationship with Tialeigh, a crime that violated both moral and legal boundaries given her age and vulnerability as his foster sister. Sentenced to 4 years in prison, Trent served only 16 months before his release in January 2018, a lenient outcome that drew public criticism. Julene Thorburn, Tialeigh's foster mother, and Joshua, her other foster brother, were also convicted for their parts in the deception. Both lied to police, claiming ignorance of the murder, and helped maintain the family's false narrative. Julene received an 18-month sentence, while Joshua served 3 months, their lighter punishments reflecting their secondary roles. Cindy Palmer, Tialeigh's biological mother, emerged as a poignant figure in the aftermath. Devastated by her daughter's death, she channeled her grief into advocacy, speaking publicly about the need for systemic change. In 2019, she launched a civil lawsuit against the Queensland government and fostering families, alleging negligence in placing Tialeigh with the Thorburns. The suit claimed authorities ignored warning signs and failed to act on reports of Tialeigh's unhappiness in the home. The service celebrated Tialeigh's vibrant spirit. Attendees wore purple t-shirts with her name, reflecting her favorite color. Her white coffin, draped in purple and pink flowers, was surrounded by 400 white roses. Her dance troupe performed, honoring her love for dance. Who failed to protect Tialeigh in foster care? Could her death have been prevented? What reforms ensure no other child suffers like her?